inside the harmony. Let's take a close look into the musical elements which is called harmony. So the soprano, alto, tenor and bass. The four-voiced sentence is made from the three-voiced chord through the doubling the root or the quint tone. Doubling the third is not usually seen. The parallel movement of the root, quint and octave tones and the unsingable interval jumps are to avoid. The stepwise movement as its shortest way, the contra motion of the melody and the bass, and the keeping the same chord notes and the musical sentences are belonging to the harmony. The rules of the harmony are like in the classical music and the jazz music and the American jazz music too. The three-note voicing is the prim, third and the seventh. The general bass rules: root note chord, root note and bass, and doubled as in the root voicing. The sixth chord, the third note in the bass, the first and the fifth at the lead. Thinking the piano instrument, for example, or in the composing on the notation paper. The quart sixth chord, the fifth at the bass, the first and the third at the lead. The septime chord, the root at the bass, the third and the fifth at the septime at the third, fifth and the septime at the lead, or the root at the left hand and the third, the fifth and the seventh at the lead. The quint sixth chord, the third at the bass, the first, the fifth and the septime at the lead. The third quart chord, the fifth at the bass, the first and the third at the septime at the lead. The fifth at the bass or at the left hand, the first, the third and the seventh at the lead on the right hand. The second chord, the septime at the left hand and the first, third and the fifth at the right hand or the lead. And these are one of the techniques working well in the films, games and advertisements. One of them are the trills, the ostinatos, the strings, woodwinds, orchestral percussions are the elements of the music. How to make music, write and develop an idea. How to develop an idea? Well, there are lots of types of the chord progressions in the music, which are wide and popularly used, which some even may be found at the another part of the books or in the various sources in the internet, but there are lots of knowledge behind them and why they have mostly chosen at the worldwide films, games and advertisements is only some of the most iconic and remembered examples of the chord progressions I'm showing here. And don't forget at all that all of the chord progressions can be changed and even reharmonized due to the choice. Take a look at a repository of the chord progressions. The first, the lower third major chords, the fourth major chord, the seventh major chord, the flat seventh major chord. Example. You can make a beautiful music and adding the strings and adding the other elements of the music only with these chord progression, and you can use the music you write, maybe some arpeggiated and with different composing techniques, and you can use this beautiful chord progression. It's like C major 7, E flat major 7, F major 7 and the A flat major 7. So, and another chord progression as a repository which I can share with you is the F major, A flat major, B flat, F major 7, B flat major 7 and the E major 7 or E dominant 7. You can use and look. You can chop them, you can use them in very different ways and things. You have a chord progression in your pocket. So D in the C tone center I said. Another is the D minor 7, G major 7, C major 7 and the A majors and the A major or the triad. Or you can write this chord progression with triads like D minor, F major, G major and A, like it is just like D, M, F, C and A. Or another is just open your notation software or take your notation papers and pencils, or just open your digital audio workstation and begin to experimenting on them. Just layer unison sounds and the effects and You can use synthesizers, or you can use the sound banks like sound phones, and you can compose it your own. What would you like? You can build up and resolve the tensions. You can, but these are just the harmonic elements, not the rhythmic elements and not the melody elements. These are the harmonic elements which you can use. Another is C major 7, E flat major 7, and the A flat major 7, and the B flat major 7. And another is the C major 7, C major 6, and the A minor 7, and or C 6 F, or C 6 F. C 6 F minor, or with the 7 chord, with the 4 voice chords, double, and so on. Another chord progression I can give you, I research and collected the chord progressions which I liked here in my ebook here. And another is the playing a B flat and F at the lead or the right hand, and playing a B flat and B flat sustain 2, it's 1 2 5, and F at the lead, and playing a D major, F sharp at the lead or at the right hand, and playing it on the D major in its simplest form. Then another is D major, B flat major 7, and F at the lead, B flat 6 major, and F note at the lead. Another G triad and the D note at the lead. You can play the inversions of a G triad, and the D comes to D at the lead, D note at the lead, and so on. And another beautiful chord progression, just write the root notes, the third, the fifth, and the seventh, or the two note and the third and the fifth root note, and so on. Or just write for the bass instruments, piano, guitars, and the drum section, or for the vocals, or add strings like a violin, a viola, a cello, or the breathe instruments like an English horn, a French horn, or trumpet, trombone, saxes, and so on, or an oboe you can use on it. And just using this D minor, F at the lead, B flat, F at the lead, B flat, F at the lead, and G minor, B flat at the lead, and E flat, B flat at the lead chord progression. Just experiment, write, compose, and D minor, B flat, G minor, E flat. This sounds even good with the guitar or a piano. Just drop in the chords. So, and D minor, B flat minor, C sharp minor, and A minor. While writing this, attend that at the lead or at the melody line, you can connect the notes between the D minor higher note and the B flat minor's higher note through the different art on ways, like chromatically, like with some definite interval steps, like chromatic steps, or like the diatonic steps. I mean, with the chord tones, you can make movements in the measures of the chords, or you can add the tension notes or the approach notes, so to say. So the highest note of the F A C at the D minor, and B flat minor's higher note is B flat D F A. If I write the D minor 7 and B flat minor 7, B flat D F A and D F A C. So between C and A, it's no wonder that you can use in the measure, and in the measure there are beats, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and if it's an upbeat or downbeat, attend this. If you are writing a quarter note or 8 note, is it on the beat or not on the beat? So it changes the between C and E, which notes you can employ. Then you have a beautiful melody lines on this beautiful D minor 7, B flat minor 7, C sharp minor 7, and A minor triad or A minor 7 chord progression. You have a melody here automatically. So a chord and the melody is appeared then in this context. I hope I don't telling so rush and hurry. And for the better listening experiment, I highly recommend having a good sound speaker system or a appropriate earphone and avoid the external audio sources to interfere, and chilling out and sitting on the sofa or on the chair or etc. and so on, and meditating and listening this. Also, we are making an overview, being a guest onto my desktop, onto my ebook. You are invited and enjoy it. You are having an overview about or you are focusing or diving into or zooming into the files of the harmony, which is the one of the most common element of the music or the contemporary music, etc. So another chord progression is the D minor, B flat minor, C sharp minor, A minor. Here attend that bass lines are not even the bass lines. So you see the chords here, and the bass lines are the D, B flat, C sharp, and A minor, the root notes of the chords. But will they jump in an normal interval from changing chord to chord in this progression? So as well, I am telling the tips, not for repeating. Okay, I'm telling the tips and for repeating and practicing again, because lots of the informations a human cannot remember everything, but if you produce music and you know how to make, and you can remember them, so you know, like your natural name, saying your natural name and surname, and it is not about some practical tips or formula like mathematical equations or artificial intelligence like knowledge or informations. Making music is producing a music. There is a huge files of the things which can be learned in 5 to 6 years with a high discipline working. But I just giving you an overview. So please don't stress and don't try to learn everything, but just have a look at generally to the files, right? So I keep telling with the chords. So you see an F/A in another progression, chord progression. It means you play an F major triad chord, but A at the lead. It means that the A note at the highest note, or D flat /A flat means A flat at the highest note or at the lead, and the D flat as the common structure of the chord. And you can see the chords in the chord progressions in their simplest forms, not tensioned and not inverted. So you can always change them with the parallel minor chords like C major and A minor, and you can inverse the chords. You don't need to write FAC. If you see an F triad, you can write ACF or CAF even. But due to this, your voicing will change. You can voice a chord open or closed position. It means in a narrow file of the narrow range of the chords or a broad range of the sound and voicing. So sounds and voicings are different things. Even the designing a sound, the relations between the chords in the same chord progression have very different qualities and the properties. So an F, D flat, E, C, E, B is in a chord progression. A minor, F minor over C, and A minor, F minor, C minor, G minor, A, F major 7. These all have different sound, different sounds and moods. Some are sad, some can be used to present different feelings or different moods. So you can use the chords in different projects as the different elements of the music. So it's kind like a civilization game, building your city, and on the other hand. So And another beautiful chord progression is the 1-4-1-4-2-6-1-6-4-5-2-7 chords. 1-4-5-1-3-6-1-5-5-1 chord progressions, and the usage of the chord progressions in American jazz music is 150 years of the history, and even not in one country or one city, in one culture, but rather than is a mixture of the lots of the different background and different arts and types of the cultures and synthesis. So at the 1920s or in the 1930s or beginning of the 19th century, you can see the application of the chords and the different styles of the music, from the swing ballads to the classical music or rock music. And 1-4-5 dominant 7, 1-4-4-6 major chord 5-1, and or 1 flat dominant 7 like C major, Das major, C dominant 7, E minor 7, C major, F major, and D minor, G major, F major, G major, F major, and C minor. So it sounds very different than the other chord progressions as we usually have been heard possibly. And I keep guiding you into the world of the chord progressions. 6 major 7 chord, 7 major 6 chord, and first minor 7 chord, and the 6 dominant 7 chords. So kind of in harmony is not to everywhere to see, but it's an original and beautiful sounding if you play once in your piano, or if you can reharmonize them to the different instruments, different collages or different coming together of the instruments. You will see there's lots of creative possibilities open, but attending that you don't just make something and it sounds good. To be successful, reading and learning more and more, because imitations looks like always the originals, and building a good understanding is not a one-time thing, not about making and if it sells good, if it don't sell, it's not good, and taking care of the copyrights and another issue. So the 1-4-6-2-1-2-7-6-4 or 1-4-5-1-6-3 or 1 minor resolving to the 5 major minor 7 or minor major 7 can it be even so, or the C minor 7 resolving to the G7 can be C minor triad resolving to the G minor major 7 can be. You can change a bit. Every chord can be changed, and almost with everything. But some sounds in harmony and some not, and we keep diving in the world of the harmony with the 6 minor 7 chord, 6 major 7 chord resolving to the 5 minor, resolving to the first minor, and the 5 dominant 7 chord. And or I am neglectingly didn't manage to read this chord progression. So I would play C major and A flat major and F major. So in popular music, as a triads, you can play the chords, and with the combination of triads and four voiced chords, you can play the sections in popular music. And the history of the popular music is very common to hear. So E minor, C minor, E minor, C minor, G minor, A minor, G minor, A or G at the lead, G minor, A, G at the lead, A chord at which the G is on the lead, D minor, B flat minor, B flat, D minor, B flat major, D minor, G major, A minor, G major, F major, A minor, E minor, F major, G sus4, and G major, F minor, E minor, F at the lead, F minor, F sharp minor, F at the lead, E minor, C major, G major, D sus4 chord, and D major, A minor, E minor, C major, D sus4, and D major, F, B, G sharp, D, F minor, A, F minor, C, sharp minor, E minor, A, and A major, and B major. just write down this chord progression. You will use it. You can use them freely. And F major 7, F, C, F9, C major, F9, A minor 7, F9, A minor 7, G sus4 and G minor, G flat major and B flat at the lead, E flat major, C flat major and G minor, G major, C major, G major, A minor, F major. Even to sing like an earworm is hard. C major, G major, A minor, F major, A minor, F major, C major, G minor. And in the different cultures and good or bad ways, these chord progressions have been used. Because it sounded good and it has been used. To be used in conscience, you have to learn, read well, not in a couple of years. You have to learn and read well to make music. So I keep building your chord progression repository: A minor, E minor, G, D, A minor, F, G, E, M, C major, F major, D minor, G major, C, E minor, G, D. Even with C or E minor, you can play lots of beautiful folk songs, or the country songs, or the authentic songs, or the meditation sounds. You can make hours of the notes. Learning the music styles and the different cultures is very good and useful, I guess, I think. D minor, F major, A minor, G major, D minor, F minor, A flat minor, B minor, C minor, A flat major 7, B flat major, G minor, C minor, A flat 9, E flat and B flat and the D at the lead. A minor, B major, F major, B major, C major, A flat major, C major, A flat major, A minor, B flat major, A flat major, A minor, F sharp major, A minor, F sharp major, C major, F sharp major, C major, F sharp major, C major, G minor, C major, E flat major, A minor, E minor, F major, E major, A minor, B major, A minor, B major. Popular songs or tunes built with this kind of progressions for the songwriters and the singers. First major, first augmented major, first major 6 chord, first 7 dominant 7 chord, first major, first plus chord, first augmented chord, the first level of the major 6 chord, and first level of dominant 6 chord, and fourth major, fifth minor, and first major chord. As the if I would play a C major, A flat minor, C major, and E flat minor. This is a beautiful chord progression even. Or C major, F major, G major, happy chord progression. A minor, F major, C major, G major, sad chord progression. As another sad chord progression may be the A minor, E minor, G major, and F major. Or 4, 5, 6, 1 is uplifting can be considered. Or 4, 5, lowered 6 and lowered 7th can be called a triumphant. So lots of chord progressions. You can take a screenshot and try at your own. Experiment it, change it. These you can do. Read it, experiment it, change them. You can change almost everything in the music. 1, 3, 4, 5, almost every possibility. 6, 7, 3, 6, 1, 6, 7, 4, 5, 1, 3, 7, 6, 6, 7, 5, 1, and so on. About orchestration, the fugue, the harmony studies, opera, vocal, musical compositions, accompaniment, sonatinas, piano, strike quartet, flutes, guitar, strings, virelai, lyric, prosa, rondo, march, the composers, the principles of the orchestra, Messen, requiem, cantata, aria, divertimento, choir music, and the music forms and arts in the different centuries. The best method is writing what already composed and they'll be loved most, transcribe it, or rewriting from the original public domain notes, and then arranging it if you want to the instruments and so on. And you can change them too. It's another the huge 1 year long lesson subject is the copyright laws. So from nothing to the completed artwork and the music, refined through the centuries and with the most practical basic elements of the musical knowledge, using the demonstration of the understanding and the live and spontaneous composition of the jazz music. I aim here to arpeggiate the forms and the elements of the music, and even the theoretical and the technical backgrounds behind the making of this music are like a journey to the intermediate music passionates and the readers, watchers and the listeners. The analysis of the American jazz music. The melody analysis of the harmony element in the American jazz music, and I open it. I return to the ebook I have written, the notes, and this you can have if you would email me, and I send you, if you wish, each year an email about what I produced and made. You can have a look, and if you would like. And the chord tones, the non-chord tones, auxiliary notes, as the chromatic approach notes, or the double chromatic approach notes, the diatonic approach notes, the anticipation notes, the tension notes, etc. and so on, or the exchange notes, the passing notes, the transition notes, and non-harmonic notes, and preparation, suspension, and resolution notes, the alteration notes, the anticipation notes, the articulations such as the legato, portato, staccato, non legato, leggero, pizzicato, spiccato, etc. and so on. Tempo, metric, accents, rhythm, tact, agogic, ornamentic, phrasing, and the dynamic. And even the segments of the musical form, such as the motive, augmentation, diminution, variation, mirroring, retrograde, repetition, and sequence. A melody is a vertical harmonic element of the music which comes from the chords or being created through the scales and the guide tone lines, etc. and so on. The chords and the cadences are one of the basic forms of the musical harmony. The guide tone lines and the voice leading rules and the techniques are helping us to make the melodies. And through the centuries of the classical music, the general bass, basso continuo, is the name of the technique about the four-voiced sentence. Practically over a root bass note, the chords are building, and the chords connection steals varies, which has own harmony rules, revealed in itself through the years. The notion harmony is something about how we can write music from the zero until the complex jazz music harmonies, and from which elements of the music. And not to forget is the music's history, such as the civilizations and the culture's history differences itself from another. For example, the American blues music has even the own art and style of its harmony, which changed through over a century, and the decades from its very simple technical properties or harmonic properties to the contemporary complex style forms and diversity of the arts derivated from the 12-bar blues form, hearable harmonies. From SATB 4-part writing sax, alto, tenor, and bass, to the song arrangements, the different files of the music arrangement. You can compose music over a jazz standard song. You can recompose, even reharmonize an already written tunes or the songs, which is called the standards. You can compose a totally different song or a music, and you can arrange an already written piece, part or the instrumental notations of the music. You can make chord progressions as the basic elements to make some music. The arrangement is all overall needed, interested and asked. Making soundtracks, game music for media and advertisements, variously for diversity of the needs, usage files and the life and the purposes. The arrangement is not only about knowing the techniques or have some specific information, knowing the professional people earning their incomes from the music businesses, files and about, but a broad, diverse and a popular theme or subject. The people who are making arrangements at the music production companies, the people are arranging the samples to make a collage or compositions. For example, through the changing their orders, considering their common properties, and interior design of the musical elements and the relations of the musical elements with each other, etc. and so on. Mostly taught with the notation paper and a pencil. With a university or a higher education, it can be done. From the classical music to the 21st century's music, and even with the popularization of the internet, there is the arrangements in the sheet music formats from the different companies and the individuals and educators, produced from the educators, even, and people are working in the industries, music, media, culture, and so on. Wherever music is needed and used, are being produced and consumed, and the worldwide interested. The reharmonization techniques at a simple niveau may be following: replacing the chords with the chords which are in the same harmonic function. They are called tonic, subdominant, and dominant with each other. I mean, a first level C major 7 chord is a tonica, and the fifth level G dominant 7 chord is a kind of dominant chord, etc. and so on, man. And once the tonic chords sounding more consonant and dominant chords, due to the tonic chords sounding more tension, more build up the tension, or more consonant, more dissonant. So the properties of the which makes the chords a chord, a tonic, subdominant, or a dominant chord in one tone center is if it has the white notes inside, if it has the other notes, some other notes inside or not. For further learning which chords are the tonic, subdominant, and dominant, it's all I let the open to the all dear watchers and listeners to the further investigations. Replacing the chords with the chords from the different modes from the same harmonic function, called the modal interchange. Adding chords from the other keys or modes, adding the tensions or the upper structures, changing the chords voicings for the various purposes, reharmonizing with the inner line chromatic movements which are working as the counterpoints. So we are entering in another file which is named as the counterpoint, and the harmony, that you can find the harmony books on the internet, which is already in the public domain, freely readable and accessible, written from the different people around the world between the 14th and 18th to 19th centuries. Adding to chromatic or double chromatic approach, also you can find a book about the form and art of fugue, the musical form and styles, genres, and also you can find a book about how to write harmonies, or the fundamentals of the harmony studies, etc., and so on. And even it's possible to find the books about the counterpoint techniques. Adding the chromatic or double chromatic approach notes to create various transitions, reharmonizing with the secondary dominant chords, and we could easily write a chord progression and connect the lead notes with each other chromatically, intervallic, with interval steps, or diatonical steps, or dominantly, etc., and so on. So adding the chromatic or the double chromatic approach notes to create various transitions. So like Lego pieces, we are connect the lead notes of the chords in a chord progression with each other, and attending to do lots of things, reharmonizing with the secondary dominant chords, reharmonizing with the substitute dominant or sub 5/7 chords, reharmonizing. We can do the reharmonization with the variety of the techniques. We can reharmonize with the extended dominant chords. We can reharmonize with the auxiliary dominant chords, adding chords from the same harmonic function, and adding 2-5-1 progression, or the modes, characteristics of the different chord families of the 2-5, second, fifth, and the first degree chord progressions, resolving to a target chord, as well as the target notes as the chord notes, and there is also the target chords, and a broader way of thinking and ratio and proportion considered. So we can add the 2-5-1 resolving to the different chord families or the target chords to any kind of harmony, or we can take a simple outlooking in the simplest forms, chord changes in a lead sheets or the standards, well-known standards, and we can always add 2-5-1 and resolving to a target chord to them, making a chord 4-voiced from the 3-voiced, or 2-voiced from the 4-voiced chord through employing only the 3rd and the 7th chord notes. We can divide the chord progressions into the pieces to employ as a various musical harmonic materials. Can you play a chord only one kind of chords or the arpeggios? This is still one of the most common way of the reharmonization in the music. We can reharmonize any music through playing a chords or the arpeggio in a different way than ours. Not only one kind of way or art. So this is still one of the most common way of the reharmonization in the music. Can you play at the same time measure or bar at least 10 different rhythms, which are all fits good to the music piece or a song? The rhythmic reharmonization is still one of the most common way of the reharmonization in the music, used and using the worldwide from the lots of people. Can you sing a melody at the same time, duration and tone different than its original? Can you sing a melody different than its original? And yes, you are on this point. And this is another still one of the most common broadly used worldwide reharmonization techniques. The role of the music in the society is give us a perspective Some jazz arrangement examples may be found in the lots of places in the and viewed accessed personally in the today's libraries or the from the different producers producing videos and materials and websites, etc. and so on. The major seconds, the minor seconds at the top notes are not the good choices, are not allowed. So in the lead, the major second intervals or the minor seconds at the top notes are not the good choices, not better allowed, better to not allow them or you employ them. The melody tones are the chord notes, the tensions, the approach notes to resolve. Change the tensions with the chord tones below. If the root note is at the melody, change the septim with the B9. Change the seventh the septim with the B9. And as a simplest version, a walking bass line is the first, the third, and the fifth chord notes, which the rest are connected chromatically. The arrangement and the composition book tips are I can share with you here is the Rayburn Wright, Inside the Score, Bill Russo, Don Sebesky, Bill Dobbins, Seminestico, Mark Levin, Franz Sikora, Din Neue Harmonielehre, Schottfeller, and Olegario Diaz is one from the new ones, can be countable. But the Bill Dobbins, Rayburn Wright, and Seminestico, they are Seminestico is a military-based musician. Also made in the military, played make arrangements in a military band, and each one is different. Bill Russo is different, and Mark Levine and Frank Sikora is jazz theory books and etc. And the harmony is included inside. This instrument notation and ranges. What I attend is they may be written differently. To be researched on the internet are the following examples. Please check the ranges, how I'm writing in a practical way in my notation paper or software or my digital audio workstation. This is very important because of if you have an idea and transpose and it's written different and played different, you can be totally confused. Better before transposing anything or writing anything from it can be sound not dissonance or not in a harmony, but you may be right in wrong places or the range. The instrument notations range of the trombone, the tuba, the bass trombone, the French horn, the E flat alto clarinet, the B flat clarinet, the trumpets, the bass clarinet, the flute, the B flat tenor saxophone, the E flat alto saxophone, the E flat baritone saxophone. Write each one time the notation ranges of these instruments. E flat instrument ranges from here to here, and the constant coupling means lead usually doubles the second or the third trumpet. The variable coupling, developing a melody from the fourth voice, the contrary motion, the linear flow, connecting the saxophones with the brass section. You can have the saxophones, you could write the saxophones beginning from writing a chord progression and the melody at the leads, and you want to connect with these saxophones with the brass section. You can do this with full doubling, block over block writing. Please, if you don't have any idea about arrangement, write about what is full doubling or block over block writing. Then you can figure out this is about connecting the saxophones with the brass section. Be constant coupling. Take the first or the third trumpet as the first alto. It means the variable coupling. Develop your own melody from the four voice. Choose your melody. Write the lead From the lead to the downwards, write the nearest chord tone. At the dominant chords, there must the third and the seventh note. At the minor 7 chords, there must the seventh and the third notes. There must be the seventh note, but there must have the seventh and the third notes. Trumpet, saxophone, trombone, drop 2 voicing, 4-way close, constant coupling, and arrangement piece can look out like this: drop 2 voicing at the chords, 4-way close rhythm, at the same time 4 notes with each other, and a constant coupling, which each line is one of the line is trumpet, one of the line is sax, another line is sax, and the other is trombone, and the chord under it. So you can play them with a piano even. A constant coupling, a 4-way close rhythm, arrangement. Even it's a 6 bar long, 8 bar long, or 12 bar long, or 2 bar or 4 bar long, measure long. The comping examples: alto sax, tenor sax, baritone sax, or the trumpets, French horns, trombones, tuba, flute, clarinets, alto, clarinet, bass clarinet. It can be look like this: small letters on the left side of the stave. You can see the notation paper: A, A, T, B, TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4, or at the other line TRB1, TRB2, TRB3. So it can look like the 2 block writing and a 3 and a piano. It can look like a piano notation, 3 piano notation written together, but it's not. It is or the three staves full of the notes going together with another. It can be looks like this, which means 4 note and 1 stave, and 4 note at 1 stave, and the 3 note at 1 stave. But it's only a comping example how about what an arrangement look like. And by writing notation can look like. By the right notation, the middle of the measures should be recognized. By writing notation at the arrangement, the middle of the measures, attend that the middle of the measures be recognizable. The anticipation, the delayed attack, you can always search and research about what is an anticipation and what is the delayed attack. Even you can find beautiful videos about them. You can find information. Yeah, right. Accent with the full note. Accent with the full note value. Accent with the separation. Shake, the vibrato, the glissando, the staccato, the bending slide. There is not only orchestral instruments or brass instruments, string instruments, or guitar, drum, like guitar, drum, contrabass, piano, or the guitars and vocals, and drum like quartets, quintets, and so on, as standard jazz bands or the accompaniment. And you can see the lots of notions like shake, the vibrato, the glissando, the staccato, or bending slide, like the accent idioms or the words used for the accenting this sound. The tension at the diminished 7 chords is a whole note above the chord notes. And the root note is always the lower note at the spread voicing or the 5-way voicing. If you write the spread voicing or 5-way voicing, the root note is always a lower note. Avoid the stay standing notes if you write while you are writing in any simple arrangement. For example, a 2-5-1 for the four instrument, a chord progression with a simple melody connected with the lead notes, and or with a different melody on the lead. Avoid the stay standing notes. So we will not write, and we will not write anyhow. Anyway, we will take care of the basic harmony and general basso continuo rules, such as the basic arrangement techniques and the rules. So there is lots of rules. So you cannot just write and it happened. I played or I sing. It's done. I did it done. Now you cannot say that. Then if you would search about what is avoiding the stay standing notes at the arrangements or the composition in the music, you can understand what I mean. After learning the basic reharmonization techniques, the basic harmony techniques, and researching the books about the harmony, maybe with some counterpoint and form knowledge, having an idea about them and or the basic walking rules, harmony rules, you can understand what means to avoid the standing notes. The four-way clauses for the active quick themas or the melodies. For example, a bebop over the thema, rhythm group, or a section. So which voicings are to use where? An open voicing and spread voicing, or close voicing, a four-way close voicing. So the more for the active and quick themas, for example, a bebop or thema or a group or rhythm group or section is more appropriate. Create. Model means not diatonical thing told with the other notes, but told in the relation of itself. Not diatonically thinking with the other note, related with the other notes, but told in the relation of itself. Model means about kind of this. For example, Miles Davis' "So What" named jazz standard song is a model example of a model jazz tune. Unitonal polymodal, for example, C Lydian, C mixolydian progression, and melodies and the themas can be considered as the unitonal or unitonal and the polymodal, because these two chord progressions, C Lydian and C mixolydian, is C major 7 and C dominant 7, for example, without tension, could maybe considered as the polymodal, because one is the first chord is Lydian and second is the mixolydian, but in one tone center it has been written in the C. So unitonal polymodal, something being familiar with these idioms is not bad obligatorily. I think the avoid notes. What are the avoid notes? In Ionian, this is the sharp 11. The Lydian is the kind of in the Ionian is in the C major. The F is the avoid note, and F. If I would play F sharp, it becomes Lydian instead of an F. It becomes Lydian then, Lydian mode. The Dorian is the major 6, Phrygian is the minor 2nd, Aeolian is the flat 6, and the Locrian is the flat 5 in this context. The spread voicing, melody, chord notes and the tensions, guide notes, root notes. So in a voicing, in a spread voicing, you can find the melody notes, chord notes, and the tensions, and the guide notes, and the root notes. And the guide notes were the 3rd and the 7th. An interval plan maybe an AABA like form of the parts of the song, sections of the song. AABA is an example of an interval plan. A tune can be unitonal or polytonal and unimodal or polymodal. An offbeat means at the weak time. The reharmonization types: diatonic, chromatic, double chromatic, parallel, and dominantic. You can find, for example, if you would write what is a dominantic reharmonization in the jazz music harmony, and you can find a variety of the examples. At first, write the melody. Attend the other notes. Do not jump from more than a melody note. Do not change it more than a melody note. So at first, writing the melody, and then the other notes should not jump more than a melody note. If there are chord tone near around, take it, use it, target it. You can change the root note with the ninth. The root notes can be changeable with the ninth notes. First, always reharmonize the resolution, then the approach notes reharmonization. For example, if I write a 2-5-1 progression, first write the first level of the chords and the notes, and first reharmonize the 1, and then the 5, and then the 2, and then the 2 and 5. Then the approach notes reharmonization, or at the note basis, first reharmonize the resolution and then approach notes. Approach notes can be reharmonized diatonically, chromatically, dominantically, which are the passing notes, and the auxiliary notes or wechsel notes, exchange notes. So diatonically, chromatically, or dominantic reharmonization can be understandable, and they can be classified at the passing notes and the exchange or the wechsel or the auxiliary notes. The minor second interval between the chord notes and the major second intervals should be avoided. So repeating them makes my understanding better, and is a good practice. On the other hand, the minor second interval between the chord notes or the major second intervals should be avoided. You can write an inversion of a chord, but attempt that the minor second intervals between the chord notes or the major second intervals not occurs. If the two notes stays at the same, then change the root note with the ninth. You have written a beautiful chord progression, and some of them you use the inversions of the chords, or exchange with another chord, and write in different inversions of these chords. But in this flow and this reharmonization you have made, the two notes stayed at the same. What to be done is changing the root note with the ninth, and then you are solving the problem of these two notes staying at same, and your arrangement or the flow of the notes sound true or better. The independent lead, chord, and the melody flows not at the same time. If the chord and the melody is not flowing at the same time, means you can think the chords as a third, seventh, and the root note, and the root note, third, fifth, and the upper structures, like two triads. One is at your left hand on the piano, and the second is at the right hand in your piano, while thinking and figuring out. And melody should be at your right hand or at the upper structures, not at the base forms of the chords or the accompaniment. The independent lead means chord and the melody is not flowing at the same time. So you can still have a good counterpoint at your progression, good arrangement, but with different flows. The melody reharmonization, the four-way close position, is necessary to express the chord types in jazz music. If you want to show or emphasize the chord types, this is the better choice of the melody reharmonization position is the four-way close. Exactly, it's like this. This voicing make it easier to identify the particular chord notes to the listeners, and if the listeners had not a taste and a ear knowledge or being familiarity with the music's physical side or the harmonic structure, they cannot identify them. But in general, everyone can understand and recognize the difference between an open spread position written melody reharmonization and the four-way close position written melody harmonization. And the four-way close, in the four-way close, it's clearly the particular chord notes easier to hear or identify, and so the chord types. The open voicing enables the listeners to hear the instrumental lines more easily. The linear approach can be illustrated easily. Open voicing, if you write an open voicing for your small orchestra of the people of your garage band or your small military band or something, or school band or something, actually these knowledges under the high school level in the lots of the cities of the United States of America, and the open voicing, and they can have an idea and understand what I mean. The open voicing enables the listeners to hear the instrumental lines more easily. If I would rearrange a melody or a tune, any melody or any song, or for example Jingle Bells, if I write the Jingle Bells with the open voicing in my piano and reharmonize for the 8 instruments, and in the open voicing, each instrument's lines or the melodies is more easily to hear, easier to hear, and how the linear approach in the melody lines or the solo lines on the instruments can be illustrated easily. So far, so good. Analyze the melody in relation to the chord arpeggios or movement from one chord to another. We take the melody, jingle bells, and jingle all the way. Oh, what fun, oh, what fun. One horse open sleigh, oh. One horse open sleigh, oh. And but we want to analyze this melody, because we will arrange it, and we will each note, if it's chord note, passing note, and chromatic approach, and transition note, etc., and so on. First of all, we are looking for if it's these notes of which makes the melody, which creates the melody, are if they are chord arpeggios or movement, or a part of the movement from one chord to another. the first thing we are differentiating is in a melody notes, if they are the part of the chord arpeggios, chord notes, or they are the part of the movement from one chord to another. Number two, we are analyzing the melody in relation to the scales or the scale fragments. So we are taking a melody and looking each note and note for note. If every single note is a part of a scale or scale fragments, and or the fragments, the pieces of the scale. So there is a building up and resolving the tension, and like the patterns and the sketches and the forms, the fragments of the scales, and the scale fragments sound more familiar, and it can be layers, surfaces, loops, effects, everything can be, even trills in the music, right? So a melody is not composed from one kind of one type of or one art of the elements. Now a melodies comes from the lots of different parts of the musical materials. A melody is a musical material, and melody is made of from the diversity of the musical materials, and it can be the chord arpeggios, chord notes, or a part of a movement from one chord to another, or a scale or scale fragments. What can be a scale fragment? It looks like question and answer. So there is in the ratio and proportion. In the small scales or in the big, in the small parts or in the big kind of characteristics, proper in the figures, and they are this looking like very other, and some kind of a characteristic you can see in the short and then the long form. And melody is a kind of, and if we are looking if the notes which creates a melody, if it's a part of the melodic movement by half steps, or the relation of each note into the melody to the accompanying chord, and if it's in the relation of each note in the melody to the accompanying chord. So, and there's melodic movements, there is a movement, the relation of there is a movements to the different chords, accompanying chord. So, and in the jingle bells and jingle all the way, we see the repeating patterns, right? Even jingle bells, jingle all the way, and oh what fun, and one horse open sleigh, and question and answer. So in the long look at the four measure, or 12 measures, and intervals, and you can see the how the melody flows, and the approach notes, unprepared approach note, auxiliary note, passing note, chromatic note, diatonic note, they are all each different. The notes are always named to the resolution. You can double the melody notes, which may be called the double lead. You can double the melody notes, and it may be called the double lead. You can search on internet or in the books the double lead. What does double lead in the musical arrangement means? So, as my guest today in the world of the musical harmony and I will tell you some common beginner chord progressions, and it will be I think better or more realistic outlooking. So what if, now is the question, what if I would not arrange the already a written melody a century ago, a part of our musical culture, or the music we have like, or a century ago or 2 centuries ago written melodies? Or what if I want to write new melodies? Maybe I want to make a gay movie music, or for the theaters, or for the advertisement, and for any purposes. I want to just drop the chord progressions and write the music, compose the music, and arrange the music and opera, and I want to make money. Maybe this can be. Then you can take these chords, progressions, and use them. If it sells, it's yours. If it's not sells, it's yours again. So for chord progressions, everyone can use. This is no story. But if you want to learn how to make good music, my tips are stand there and just take a general outlook about the files of the studies and professions which can be learned in the long years in higher education, and then after of maybe 5 to more years of well conservatory education, and in the real life while earning your money, more times to forgetting them and learning them how to make it, and so on. But now be my guest, and the reason I have wrote this ebook is actually not so complicated or not personal. I want also have a general outlook and have a general look on the different files of the what makes good music and what is this. And it is not just like in the YouTube videos, it can be learned in a couple of 10 hours or, or in a year or something. So it is not a mystery. These are professions, and in the music, while producing music from knowledge to nothing to the end production, there is not only the instruments you need or the electronical instruments you need. No. You have to. There is lots of professions. I mean, in the thing, and it's not easy. But we can just give like a hope, not hope, and it's not a mystery. We can just give an idea about what is this, and from nothing to there. I want to see again this file, open a loop on it, and regather my knowledge and the thinking, and the maybe 5 to 6 months more thinking over them before I write or compose something, or doing something with the less labor arts, or some or strange labor arts or false things to make money, optimize things. No. I will wait and think about, and slowly but good things make composing. And so this is there's an easy thing. Just do this and take this $100 or $1,000. No, nothing like this. It's not about human relations. If you want to make something good, if you want to make good music, you have to learn this really good. So it's not mystery, not from person to person changeable thing. So I want to read you some common beginner chord progressions. At least they can help you to drop them or write them, and from nothing you can create your music from zero to your end production just with a computer, or maybe a 88 keys MIDI keyboard. So the first sharp diminished 7, C sharp diminished 7, D minor 7, and G7 is for example a chord progression in the C tone center, I can guess. And I read all this in the C major, that we can have an idea. And C major, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7, C major, E flat diminished, D minor 7, G7, G7 and the G on the lead, and D minor 7, G7, C major, and G7 flat 9 and the D on the lead or on the top, and D minor 7, G7 and C major 7, C major and G dominant 7 and F on the lead, and F major, no, F minor and the C major, and E minor 7, A dominant 7, D minor 7, G dominant 7, C major, resolving to the C major, can be counted as some examples of the chord progression which we can begin to arrange and write and compose a melody and write an arrangement or create a beautiful music for our production. So I give examples, some chord progression examples. In there the substitute chords have passing, and C major 9 and resolving to the E minor 7, F minor 6 resolving to the A flat dominant 7, G7 resolving to the E flat dominant 7, and I give in some examples with the transition chords. Just check what transition chord is in the progression finds place. It's C major, C diminished 7 and resolving to the C major, building up the tensions and resolving. D minor 7, the D sharp diminished and the C major 7, F major 7, F sharp diminished and C major 7, G dominant 7, G diminished and the G dominant 7, C major, C sharp diminished and the D minor 7, C major and the E flat diminished, D minor 7, C major, F, E diminished, C major, E diminished, F major 7 or F major triad. What does a cadence mean? It means the ends of the musical sentences. A plagal cadence is let's search what plagal cadence means. Example for one chord progression, D minor 7 C or F dominant 7 to resolving to the C major. They are plagal cadence and they having the subdominant quality. Minor plagal cadence examples and they are sounding minor in the minor chord family. They are sounding minor and subdominant, right? Is the F minor resolving to the C, and the D minor 7 flat 5 resolving to the C major, and B flat dominant 7 resolving to the C chord progressions can be counted as the minor art of the plagal cadence, which have the subdominant quality. A perfect cadence means G7 to C or E flat 7 to resolving to the C major. Perfect cadence examples, and they are sounding dominant. Deceptive or broken cadence is the 5-7 to 1 resolving to the 1, 5-7 to the resolving to the third minor 7, 5-7 resolving to the 6th minor 7, 5-7 resolving to the 3 minor 7 flat 5, and 5-7 resolving to the 3 dominant 7 chords. So I have also the chord progressions written as classified as the cadence types and plagal, minor, perfect, or deceptive or broken canals. They are type of harmonic materials or the chord progressions. So where to use them and how to use them, and will my production, will my music sound like this or this left to the producer and needs more things. Observing the changes in the famous jazz standard songs, which is called I Got Rhythm I Do. Now I'm giving you an example on a old jazz tune, jazz standard, which is called I Got Rhythm. In the first measure we have B flat, D, F and A on our left hand, and G, B flat, D and F. So B flat, D, F and A, and G, B flat, D and F at the first measure. They have both B flat note in common. Writing beginning from the B flat is that if I wrote these two chords, I beginning reharmonizing my lead sheet. If I would begin these both chords from B flat, then it will sound like B flat, D, F, A and B flat, D, F, G. So the always less movement as possible, almost less movement as possible in this concept I did. C, E, G, B flat and the F, A, C, E flat is the second measure. F, A, C, E flat is the third and the fourth measure. I'm playing the changes now. I'm singing the change in the notes and the changes, or in the harmonies of the jazz standard song I Got Rhythm. B flat, D, F, A, E flat, G, B flat, D flat at the sheet, but I'm writing E flat as its second inversion, also beginning from the B flat. Then I would have B flat, D, F, A and B flat, D flat, E flat and G written in the closest nearest positions as the fifth measure. I do write always like this. Before I play, I'm thinking and reharmonize, and I know which notes at the chords I have, and I don't need to look to the sheet again, notation paper always and again. So I first understand the changes, the thema and the harmonic of the songs I Got Rhythm, and E flat, G, B flat, C is the E flat, and E, G, B flat, D is the E minor 7/5 or E diminished 7 as the second measure. The seventh measure has four chords which are D, F, A, C, D, F, G, B and C, E flat, G, B flat with the F, A, C, E flat, which I am writing beginning from the C note as a second inversion like this: C, E, B, F, A. So the seventh measure is clear: D, F, A, C, D, F, G, B and C, E flat, G, B flat, B flat, C, E flat, F, A. So just like a backgammon or chess game, this is my game. This is the musician's game. Resolving to the 8th measure, which is no other than B flat major 7, B flat, D, F, A. The 9th measure is C, E, G, A minor 7 as the C6 chord. The 10th measure is the D, F sharp, A and C, D7 chord. At the 11th measure, playing D, F, A, C, the D minor 7th chord. I'm not going blind. I know which notes I'm playing with the names one by one. At the 12th measure, playing D, F, G, B at the G7 chord. At the 13th measure, playing D, F, G, B flat, the G minor 7 chord, the second inversion. At the 14th measure, playing C, E, G, B flat, the C7 chord. At the 15th measure, playing C, E flat, G, B flat, the C minor 7 chord, then C, E flat, F and A. So I have a beautiful and clearly written, harmonically good within 16 measures, and at each measure I know which notes I have. The tone center is the B flat major, 4/4 rhythm, 4/4 order, and the tune has a relative high tempo. It's about 240 beats per minute. First play the changes, arpeggiated until you got the rhythm, I say. And you remember the melody is the da-da, I got rhythm, ba-dee-da-doo-ba, ba-da-doo-ba-dee-da-bow, ba-dee-da-doo-ba-bow. And so, something like this. Like the earworms, like the children games. Just on our songs are like this. And if you played it, it is 16 measure reharmonization you made and simplification, and you have the melody. Now I know in each 16 measure how the harmony changed, and I can improvise and communicate, making question answers on them. We can play some good and our original styles and ways of and reharmonization of the beautiful old song I Got Rhythm. So I choose this song because it's one of the over 100 at the beginning of the 90s, 1920s until popular song. And let's check the national jukebox or the collections at the local government about this collections playlist. Early Tin Pan Alley. Copy this. Early Tin Pan Alley, local go, national jukebox. Please listen to these beautiful songs. And films, books, and music carefully chosen and represented can be found at the University of New Orleans public domain sheet collection. Take the public domain sheets and work note for note, transcribe them, and you have a better view inside on them. The Cantorian music collection from the Virginia University, Berger and Israel, 348 popular songs with the modern and traditional harmonization for both study and performance. Public domain songs anthology. The Smithsonianmag.com Smart Names, Happy Public Domain Day, Popeye, Rhapsody in Blue, The Sound and the Fury, and thousands of other captivating creations are finally free for everyone to use. They have written. So Smithsonianmag.com. Check this. The history of jazz music are giving us an orientation for listening, making, phrasing, speaking, and living in the culture coming from the music. 1819's the ragtime music, 19th the New Orleans music goes to 1910s the Dixieland music. The 90s and the 1910s are the folk blues, and the 1920s the classical blues music are coming from the American blues music. The 1920s the boogie music, as well as the New Orleans music in Chicago and the Chicago music. The 1926 the swing music. The 1930 is still the classical blues music and the Kansas City music and the New Orleans and the Dixieland music until the 1940s. The 1940s the rhythm and blues music, bebop music, and the 1947s the Latin music is coming from classification under the world music. The Dixieland and the Chicago music are called the old-time jazz, where the New Orleans and the Dixieland music revival at the beginning of the 1940s are called traditional jazz music, and the bebop music at the 1940s and further called the modern jazz music. The European classical music is coming from the century to the present times. At the 1950s it is the cool music, which are the Tristano music and the West Coast music classified. At the 1960s, instead of the rhythm and blues music, more popular became is the soul music. In the 1960s, the hard bop music and the free jazz music. The 1970s, the soul music's popularity left its place to the funk music, where the free jazz music left its popularity to the jazz rock music and so-called fusion music, as well as the AACM Association for the Advancement of the Creative Musicians, a non-profit founded in 1965 in Chicago. The European jazz music On the other hand, the African and the Indian music at the World Music Classification and the mainstream jazz music at the 1970s in the USA. At the 1980s, the neo-bop music and the neo swing music. The hip-hop music appears at the popularity and gains the popularity in place of the funk music. The hip-hop music appears at the popularity place of the funk music until the present time, so to say. And the free funk music, the classicism, the neoclassicism, the no wave music, even the noise music and the postmodern jazz. In 1988, the acid jazz music. 1995, the new jazz music, and further. So once more, I wanna summarize all. And writing music for a choir. Also there you can write a music for a choir. Involves several steps and considerations to ensure that the music is both beautiful and suitable for vocal performance. Here is a general guide to help you get started. Understand the choir's voice ranges. Choirs typically consist of 4 voice parts: soprano, alto, soprano, high female voices, alto, low female voices, tenor, high male voices, and the bass, which means low male voices. Familiarize yourself with the typical ranges for each voice part to ensure your music is within their comfortable singing range. Number 1 is for the writing music for a choir is the understand the choir's voice ranges. If I would guide you generally for both beautiful and suitable vocal performances, is choosing a musical style. Decide on the style of music you want to write, whether it's classical, contemporary, gospel, or something else. Consider the capabilities and the preferences of the choir you are writing for. Create a melody. After you learn the choir's voice ranges, you choose a musical style and you create a melody. If you would like to write music for a choir. And creating a melody, start by composing a melody that is singable and memorable. Keep the range of the melody within the vocal ranges of the choir parts. Think about the phrasing and the rhythm of the melody to make it easy to sing and follow. Harmonize the melody. Add harmonies to the melody by considering the chords that will support it. Ensure that the harmonies are pleasing to the ear and don't clash with the melody. Use common chord progressions and consider the tonality of the piece. Arrange the choir parts. Assign the melody and the harmonies to the appropriate voice parts. Balance the texture by considering the distribution of voices in each part. Pay attention to the dynamics and expression of each part to create a cohesive sound. Consider the text. If you are setting text to music, choose lyrics that are appropriate for the style and mood for the piece. Ensure that the rhythm and phrasing of the text match the musical phrasing. Consider the meaning and emotion of the text and how it can be conveyed through the music. Notate the music. Use music notation software or write the music by hand to create a clear and organized score. Include all necessary information such as case signature, time signature, tempo, dynamics, and expression marks. Make sure the notation is easy to read for the choir members. Rehearse and refine. Share the music with the choir and conduct rehearsals to get feedback and make any necessary adjustment. Be open to suggestions from the choir members and make changes as needed to improve the music. Record and perform. Once the music is polished, consider recording the choir, performing the piece, plan the performances and the concerts to showcase the music and share it with the audience. Remember, writing music for a choir is a collaborative process that requires sensitivity to the voices and capabilities of the singers. Take your time, be patient, and enjoy the creative process. Composing and developing a musical idea involves several creative steps that can help transform a simple melody or chord progression into a fully realized piece of music. Here is a detailed guide to help you through the process. First, inspiration and initial idea. Find your inspiration. Musical ideas can come from anywhere. A melody that pops into your head, a chord progression you hear in another song, or even a particular mood or emotion you want to convey. Capture the idea. As soon as you get an idea recorded, use your phone, a digital recorder, or any device that can capture audio. If you play an instrument, you might also jot down notes or chords. Exploration and development. Experiment with variations. Once you have your initial idea, start experimenting with it. Change the key, tempo, rhythm, or instrumentation. See how different variations affect the mood and the feel of the piece. Harmony the melody. If you have a melody, try adding chords to it. Experiment with different chord progressions to see how they complement the melody. Consider the harmonic structure and how it can enhance the emotional impact. Create a chord progression. If you started with a chord progression, build a melody around it. Play the chords on an instrument and see what melodies naturally emerge. Consider how the melody interacts with the harmony. Structure and the form. Define the structure. Decide on the structure of your composition. Will it be verse-chorus form, AABA, sonata form, or something more complex? Having a clear structure can help guide the development of your idea. Develop sections. Work on each section of your piece. Verse, chorus, bridge, turnaround, etc. separately. Ensure each section has its own identity but also fits well with the others. Consider how the section transition and connect. Thematic development, motivic development. Identify motifs or short musical ideas within your main theme. Develop these motifs by varying their rhythm, pitch, or harmony. This can create a sense of coherence and development through the piece. Counterpoint. If applicable, consider adding counterpoint by introducing secondary melodies that interact with the main melody. This can add complexity and depth to your composition. Arrangement and instrumentation. Choose instruments. Decide which instruments will best suit your musical idea. Consider the mood and genre of your piece. Think about the timbre and range of each instrument. Arrange the parts. Once you have chosen your instruments, arrange the parts for each one. Think about how the different instruments will be interact and complement each other. Consider the balance and texture created by the instrumentation. Add texture and depth. Consider adding layers such as background vocals, synthesizers, or percussion to enrich the sound. Think about how these layers contribute to the overall texture and the dynamics of the piece. Recording and production. Record your idea. Use a digital audio workstation to record your musical idea. You can use virtual instruments or record live instruments. Capture the essence of your composition in a recorded format. Mix and master. After recording, mix the tracks to balance the levels and add effects to effects like reverb, delay, or distortion. Mastering will help ensure that your final product sounds polished and professional. Pay attention to the dynamics and overall sound quality. Feedback and revision. Get feedback. Share your work with the others and get feedback. Listen to their comments and suggestions and consider how you might revise your piece. Feedback from peers or mentors can provide valuable insights. Revise and refine. Based on the feedback you receive, make any necessary revisions. These might involve changing the arrangement, adjusting the tempo, or even rewriting certain sections. Iterate on your composition to refine and improve it. Final touches. Add finishing details. Consider adding any final touches, such as additional effects, transitions, or even a title for your piece. These details can enhance the overall impact and coherence of your composition. Prepare for distribution. If you plan to share your music with a wider audience, prepare it for distribution. This might involve creating cover art, writing liner notes, or setting up a release on streaming platforms. Continuous practice and learning. Keep practicing. The more you practice, the better you will get at developing musical. Writing for orchestral percussion can be a rewarding but challenging task, as it involves a wide range of instruments, techniques, and sounds. Here is a guide to help you effectively write for orchestral percussion. Understanding instruments. Familiarize yourself with the common orchestral percussion instrument and their characteristics. Timpani. Tuned drums that can produce specific pitches. They are often used for dramatic effects and can play melodies. Snare drum produces a sharp, crisp sound, used for rhythmic patterns and accents. Bass drum provides a deep, resonant sound, often used for a dramatic impacts or to underline the musical climaxes. Cymbals include crash, ride, and suspended cymbals. They add color and can create dramatic effects. Tambourine adds a bright, jingling sound, often used for rhythmic accents. Triangle produces a clear bell-like sound used for delicate accents. Marimba, xylophone, and vibraphone, mallet instruments that can play melodies and harmonies. Other percussions consider auxiliary instruments like woodblocks, castanets, and tambourines for added texture. Know the techniques. Explore various playing techniques that can be employed on percussion instruments. Rolls. Timpani and snare drums can be rolled for sustained sound. Ghost notes. Soft notes played on the snare drum to add texture. Flams and drugs. Techniques that create a fuller sound on snare drums. Mallet techniques. Different mallet types, hard, soft, yarn, can produce varied timbres on mallet instruments. Dampening. Techniques to control resonance, especially on timpani and cymbals. Consider the role of percussion. Determine the role of percussion in your composition. Rhythmic foundation. Percussion can provide the backbone of the rhythm section. Color and texture. Use percussion to add color and texture to the orchestration. Dramatic effect. Percussion can create tension, excitement, and dramatic moments. Notation and score preparation. Use standard notation. Write percussion parts using standard notation, ensuring clarity in the rhythm and dynamics. Indicate techniques. Clearly indicate any special techniques. Rolls, dampening in a score. Be specific. Specify which instruments to use for each part, especially if there are multiple percussionists. Experiment with texture and dynamics. Layering. Combine different percussion instruments to create rich textures. For example, layering snare and bass drums can create a powerful effect. Dynamics. Use a wide dynamic range to create contrast. Percussion can be very effective at both soft and loud dynamics. Right for the ensemble. Balance. Ensure that the percussion parts are balanced with the rest of the orchestra. Percussion can easily overpower other instruments if not carefully considered. Interaction. Think about how percussion interacts with other sections. Percussion can respond to or echo melody lines from string or woodwinds. Listen and analyze. Study scores. Analyze orchestral scores that feature percussion prominently. Listen to recordings to understand how percussion is used in context. Experiment. Don't hesitate to try out different ideas and sounds. Use a keyboard or software to simulate percussion sounds. Feedback and revision. Seek feedback. Share your percussion parts with experienced percussionists or conductors for feedback. Revise. Be open to making changes based on practical consideration and feedback. Conclusion. Writing for orchestral percussion requires a blend of creativity, knowledge of instruments, and an understanding of their role within the ensemble. By exploring different techniques, experimenting with textures, and considering the overall orchestration, you can create compelling and effective percussion parts that enhance your composition. Happy writing. Composing for woodwinds and the strings involves understanding the unique characteristics and capabilities of each instrument, as well as how they can interact effectively within an orchestral or ensemble context. Here's a detailed guide to help you compose for these two sections. First, understand the instruments. Woodwinds, flute, bright, agile sound, capable of rapid passage and expressive melodies. Oboe, reedy, penetrating tone, often used for lyrical lines and expressive solos. Clarinet, versatile with a wide range, can play both lyrical and virtuosic passages. Bassoon, rich warm sound often used for bass lines and humorous or quirky passages. Strings, violin, bright and agile, capable of fast passages and expressive melodies. Viola, warmer, deeper sound than the violin, often used for inner harmonies and counter melodies. Cello, rich warm tone, can play both melodic and harmonic roles. Double bass, deepest string sound typically provides bass lines and harmonic support. Consider range and technique. Range. Be aware of typical ranges for each instrument. For example, violins can play higher notes than cellos, and bassoons have a lower range than clarinets. Techniques. Explore various playing techniques such as pizzicato, plucking strings, legato, smooth playing, staccato, short, detached notes, and harmonics, overtones. Writing melodies. Number 3. Lyrical lines. Use the expressive capabilities of woodwinds and strings to create lyrical melodies. Consider the timbre and character of each instrument when crafting melodies. Counterpoint. Utilize counterpoint to create interplay between woodwinds and strings. For example, a flute melody can be complemented by a viola counter melody. Number 4. Harmonization. Voicing. When writing for strings, consider how to voice chords effectively. Use the inner voices, viola and cello, to create rich harmonies. Woodwind doubling. Woodwinds can double strings for added color. For instance, a clarinet can double a cello line to enhance its richness. Number 5. Texture and dynamics. Texture. Vary the texture by combining different instruments. For example, use a solo oboe with strings for a delicate texture, or fully woodwinds with strings for a lush sound. Dynamics. Use dynamics to create contrast. Woodwinds can provide soft, delicate passages, while strings can swell to create powerful climaxes. Number 6. Interaction and dialogue. Call and response. Create dialogue between woodwinds and strings. For example, a flute can play a phrase that is answered by the cello. Rhythmic interplay. Use contrasting rhythms between the two sections to create interest. For instance, strings can play sustained notes while woodwinds play short rhythmic figures. Number 7. Orchestration techniques. Layering. Layer woodwinds and strings to create depth. For example, use flutes and violins in unison for a bright sound, or combine bassoons and cellos for a darker timbre. Color. Experiment with different combinations to achieve various colors. For instance, pairing a solo bow with a string quartet can create an intimate sound. Number 8. Listen and revise. Study scores. Analyze orchestral scores that feature woodwinds and strings prominently. Listen to recordings to understand how these sections interact. Feedback. Share your compositions with musicians or conductors for feedback and be open to making revisions. Conclusion. By understanding the characteristic of woodwinds and strings, considering their ranges and techniques, and exploring their interactions, you can create rich and engaging compositions and effectively utilize these instrumental families. Happy composing. And at these parts of these reading of my ebook and electronic book, I want to rename and remember what these scales and the modes and these modes and scale relations. The B Phrygian mode, if you want to play B Phrygian, you play G major, begins from the B to its octave. If you want to play C Lydian, play G major scale. And this way of thinking is very clear and practical. But not only knowing them, learning them, memorizing them is processing huge information. Now just listen and how it sounds. What are these? Being familiar with these idioms. So the C Lydian is G major scale. The D flat Lydian is the A flat major scale. The D Lydian is the A major scale. The E flat Lydian is the B flat major scale. The E Lydian is the B major scale, and the F Lydian is the C major scale. The F sharp Lydian is the C sharp major scale. G Lydian, D major scale. And G sharp Lydian is the E flat major scale. And A Lydian is the E major scale. B flat Lydian is the F major scale. B Lydian is the F sharp major scale. So I can play in 12 keys for the Lydian, to produce a Lydian mode sound, and only the major scales of the tone centers, as well as the Mixolydian. C Mixolydian is F major scale. D flat Mixolydian is G flat major scale. D Mixolydian is G major scale. E flat Mixolydian is A flat major scale. E Mixolydian is A major scale, etc. and so on. G Mixolydian is C major scale. And the Aeolian, C Aeolian is E flat major scale. F Aeolian is the A flat major scale. D Aeolian mode is the F major scale, etc. and so on. And the Locrian, seventh mode is the E Locrian is the F major scale. B, let's look, B Locrian is the C major scale. So the modes are the arrangements of the scales, of the scales. If I want to play C Dorian and if I want to play C Lydian, or if I want to play C Aeolian, or if I want to play C Locrian, and just find the appropriate major scale and employ the major scale. I can write a melodic minor ascending scale, and the modes of the ascending melodic minor scales, which can be the Dorian flat, Dorian B2, Lydian augmented, Lydian flat 7, Mixolydian flat 6, Locrian sharp 6, or the altered or super Locrian scales. And I can write in a harmonic minor scale, and their modes or degrees, I can write the modes of the degrees of the harmonic minor scales, which are no other than the Locrian harmonic minor 2 as the Locrian 13 scale, harmonic minor 3 is the Ionian sharp 5, 4 is the Dorian sharp 11, the 5th is the Lydian, the 5th is the harmonic dominant scale, and the 6th is the Lydian sharp 9 scale, and the 7th is the harmonic diminished scale. So I can take the most of the harmonic minor and the melodic minor scales. So I can play both for the major and the minor modes and the chords for different scales. For example, at the first or the fourth major 7 chords, I can employ the Ionian and Lydian minor pentatonic scales from the different degrees. And for the second flat major 7 chords, I can, or for the second flat, 6th flat, and the 7th flat major 7 chords, if I would see, I can play Lydian scales. Or 3rd, 6th, 7th, and the second flat major 7 chords, I can play the Lydian scale mostly. If I would see C6 chord, I can play C major pentatonic scale. Or if I see F6 chord, I can play F major pentatonic scale. If I would see D minor 6 chord, I can play the D Dorian or the D minor pentatonic scale. If I would see C minor 6 chord, I can play natural minor or the harmonic minor and or the melodic minor scale. Or if I would see a F minor 6 chord, this is the same in the C tone center. And what if I would see a C minor major 7, I can both play harmonic and the melodic minor scales. And what if I see an E flat major 7 sharp 5 scale, I can play the harmonic minor and the melodic minor scales. the augmented scale, and I can employ the Lydian scale, Lydian augmented scale. I'm giving the examples in the C tone center to simplify and summarize. If I would see D minor 7, just playing the D Dorian, D minor pentatonic, blues scale, or the whole tone, half tone scales. If I would see E minor 7, I can play Phrygian scale. If I would see A minor 7, I can play Aeolian scale. If I would see C minor 7, I can play C Dorian scale. If I would see F minor 7, F Dorian scale. And the 5 and the G minor 7, then G Phrygian scale. And C minor 7, Aeolian scale, D minor 7, Dorian B2 scale, and F minor 7, natural minor scale, or G minor 7 Phrygian scales can be applied at the minor modes. And B minor 7 flat 5 or minor 7 flat 5s are the Locrian, is generally considered. But in the minor mode, B minor 7 flat 5, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, I can use to B minor 7 flat 5 in the minor modes, the altered scale or the melodic minor scale. I can use the A minor 7 flat 5 at the minor modes, harmonies. I can employ the Locrian sharp 2 or the melodic minor scale. If I would see D minor 7 flat 5 in a minor mode, harmonies, then I can use the natural minor scale or the harmonic minor scales. I mean, these are the most common mistakes made in written in the major or minor modes, written chord progressions, using any scale or any melody lines, and why not successful? Because you don't not use the appropriate and the true scale, but the scale you think they are you are using the scales wrong. Right, and if you see a diminished 7 chord in the major mode, like the first diminished 7, raised first and raised second diminished 7s, or the lowered third diminished 7, or the lowered fifth diminished 7 and the fifth diminished 7s, you can use the different scales, like C diminished 7 and the C major harmonic rhythm song. You can use the whole tone, half tone scale. This is the true scale for this. Or C sharp diminished 7 in a major mode, the harmonic minor scale from the 7th degree is a true probability to use. And or D sharp diminished 7, use the D sharp harmonic minor scale from the 7th degree, and E flat diminished 7 is the same, and G flat diminished 7 in the major mode, harmonic minor scale is a G flat harmonic minor scale from the 7th degree, and the G diminished 7, the whole tone, half tone scale is to use. And I'm summarize one more time and finishing. And dominant chords in the major mode, and G7 is the Mixolydian scale, and the altered scales can be used. D7, the Lydian B7 scale is to use. E flat 7, the Lydian B7 scale is to use. F7, the Lydian B flat scale, the Lydian B7 scale, both to use for the F7 scale. And the blues form, in the blues form, the fourth dominant 7 chords, the Lydian scale, the blues scale, the whole tone half tone scale, and the mixolydian, and the altered scale. Altered scales you can choose and use. In the lowered 6 dominant 7 chords, the Lydian B7 scale. Lowered 7 dominant 7 chords, the Lydian flat 7 scales. And the 6th degree of the dominant 7 chords, use the altered scale or the harmonic minor scale. And the 7th degree dominant 7 chords in the blues form, use the altered scale. And the 1st degree dominant 7 chord in the blues form, use the mixolydian scale or the Lydian flat 7 scales. In the minor mode, if you see a 5th degree dominant 7 chords, use a harmonic minor, melodic minor, or mixolydian altered scales. If you see a 2nd degree dominant 7 chords in the minor mode, use the altered scales. The delaying chords in the major mode, the 5th degree sus4 chords, if you would see, use the Ionian scale, the minor pentatonic scale from the 2nd degree. But the 5th degree dominant 7 sus4 chords, use the mixolydian scale, the minor pentatonics at the 2nd degree or the 5th degree. The minor pentatonics at the 2nd or the 5th degree. In the minor mode, if you see the small 5 sus4 written, it means in the minor mode as sus4 chord, use the mixolydian B6 scale. B6 scale, and with the big letters written 5th degree dominant 7 chord sus4, use the mixolydian B6 scale or the minor pentatonic at the 5th degree. And altered chords in the major mode, 1st degree of major 7 B6 chord, use the Lydian scale, the minor pentatonic scale from the 7th degree. 5th degree dominant 7 flat 5 sharp 11 chords, use the Lydian B7 scale. 5th degree dominant 7 flat 5 raised 5 chords in the major mode, use the whole tone scale. And in the major mode, 5th degree dominant 7 flat 9, use the half tone whole tone scale. And 5th degree dominant 7 sharp 9 chords in the major mode as one of the altered chords, use the half tone whole tone scale or the Dorian scale. 5th degree dominant 7 flat 5 B9 as in the major mode as the altered chords. The true choice of the scale is the altered scale. In the minor mode, and even in the minor mode, if you see a 1st degree of minor 9 flat 5 chord and write a melody with the Locrian sharp 2 scale or over a 1st degree minor 9 flat 5 minor mode chord, then it is a true way of harmonizing. Or the B 3rd degree major 7 sharp 5 chord in the minor mode, if you write a melody with the Lydian augmented scale at the melodic minor or the harmonic minor scale, if you write a melody with the harmonic minor scale, so this is a true way of harmonization. And if you see in a jazz standard 5th degree dominant 7 sharp 9 chord in the minor mode or the harmony, and you can just play a blues scale over this, or the minor pentatonic scale over these. And at last example I would like to share with you. If you see a 5th degree dominant 7 flat 5 chord and 5th degree dominant 7 flat 5 flat 9 chord in the minor mode or harmony, and you can improvise on it with the major or the minor pentatonic scales, and is the true and would be the true harmony. So far so good. Thanks for watching or listening.